Welcome to Ascension 17, the podcast to assist you in reaching your full abundance potential through spiritual ascension, sponsored by Ascension17.com, the place to go for abundance training, guidance, and multidimensional palmistry. And now here's your host, Cynthia Clark, spiritual mentor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. I'm Cynthia Clark, and I am super excited to be sharing some information I've actually been gathering for many years now regarding soulmate activation and relationship harmony. So I thought this would be great to talk about, given that we have Valentine's Day right around the corner. So it's a beautiful time to focus on love and the love energy. And I'm going to start out with anchoring love, speaking of love, into this very live stream. So I like to start out every live stream with this, with these three anchors. So anchor number one, I anchor love deep into the earth so that all may know the ascension path. Anchor two, I anchor my intention of enlightenment to the whole planet so that individuals may choose the ascension path. And anchor number three, I anchor healing and karma balancing to the whole planet so that individuals may accelerate in the ascension path. And so it is. Okay, so this week we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about regarding relationships. By the way, if you missed last week's episode, I did a purpose activation with the archangels. And next week, we are going to be looking at cleansing the soul star chakra. So there's always something really fun that we do every single week. And if you can't make it live, then you can always listen to or watch the replay. So I make that available on the same page where you go for the links to join the live stream. So thank you so much for being here. I want to first talk a little bit about some of the information that's been coming through. I meditate every single day, and I've been getting some information from the Pleiadian Council of Light, and they call this multidimensional palmistry. Okay, so I've been reading hands for over 15 years now, and I've been working with information in the hands to help you understand yourself better. And they're taking it into a whole new level where we're actually working with portals in the hands, and they call the fingerprints portals. So we can work with different portals to activate and heal ourselves. And there's so many cool things that I'm learning now directly from the Pleiadian Council of Light. So they told me that the left little finger, okay, so Mercury is our little finger, represents our communication finger. And they call this the portal of soulmate love and healing. Okay, so when you think about the fingerprint, okay, this is the portal of soulmate love and healing. So we can activate that. Okay, so how we do that is we can run like your nail on that part of your finger. Okay, so right on the fingerprint, and you can look at it and kind of give it, like, just massage it a little bit and say, left Mercury, portal open, so that I may access my birthright of divine soulmate connection. Okay, so if you're wanting to connect to your soulmate, this is how you can do it through multidimensional palmistry. All right, and you can also do this invocation, which is a heart chamber opening. And you can still just massage that part of your hand and say, my heart chambers are open from having been sealed. I am now whole, complete, and healed. So, and then just feel that energy coming right through that portal. Feel it entering in your body, and know that it is opening. Okay, so we're activating. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about relationships, and we're going to do some other activations as we go through. And I'm also going to show you some of the specific areas on your hands that are significant. So I received this in a meditation called the 5 Golden Rules of Relationships. Okay, so relationships really do, they show us so much, right? It's how we get triggered the most. It's it's how we grow, right? So they told me 5 different rules with relationships. Number 1, relationships bring soul growth. Okay, so look at the people in your life, all the people in your life, they are helping you to grow and evolve as a soul individual. Okay, good or bad, right? We've got all kinds of relationships, but they teach us, right? They teach us and they help us to grow. Number 2, relationships are mirrors. Okay, so when you think about those significant people in your life, what are they showing you? And they are showing you something that you can learn about yourself, because of course we're all connected. You know, we're all in this quantum entanglement and we're in this cosmic soup together. And so the people that are closest to us are showing us, like a mirror, what we need to learn about ourselves to be true. Okay, so when we're manifesting abundance and we're trying to bring in more love and more harmony in our lives, sometimes we will be shown something that is the opposite, right? We'll be shown anger, or we'll be shown judgment, things like that. And it's very important to pay attention. It's like, okay, the universe is showing this. And then you need to look within and go, how is this reflecting what I believed or know to be true about myself? Okay, so this is how we start to shift things. Okay, number 3, relationships are sacred. Okay, so to me, sacred, the term sacred means divine. Okay, so we are put in relationships from the divine, and we choose these, many of these relationships we choose before we even come to earth, and we know we're going to have these relationships, like our parents, for example, and our siblings, and a lot of times even our spouses, or very, very significant relationships where we choose to have these relationships in advance because they're going to show us or teach us something, and they're sacred, they're divine, and they're guided by the divine. So we can learn to honor those, right? We honor those relationships. Number 4, relationships are dynamic. Okay, dynamic. Now that term to me means that they're fluid, right? They're not set in stone how they're going to go. And we can change them and shift them by changing ourselves. Okay, so it's always about, what are we in control of? And we are in control of only 4 things. We're in control of our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and our reactions. And this is the same is true in relationships. So it's very important to look at, how do I feel about this relationship, or how do I think about this relationship, and how do I react in a relationship? Okay, so, and then we're going to get into the 7 keys for creating harmony here in just a little bit. So the 5th golden rule is that relationships allow us to embody love. All right, so if we lived in a vacuum, like the vacuum of space, and we were not around anybody, that wouldn't be very much fun, now would it? So when we get into relationships, friendships, and this is all types of relationships, we get into friendships, we get into coworker relationships, we have acquaintances, we have professional relationships, we have intimate relationships, we have marriage, things like that. We have each of these different relationships is a dynamic, and it's fluid, and it is allowing us to embody love, and it's allowing us to show love and receive love. Okay, so we need that in our lives in order to express our love energy. Okay, so this is why it's good to get into relationships, and I would never encourage anyone to just say, okay, that's it. I'm never going to have another relationship ever again. I find that to be very sad, because that means that you're no longer growing and you're no longer allowing yourself to embody love. So people who really isolate themselves, that is really not what I would recommend. Of course, it's good to isolate every once in a while, like if you need to go inward and do some healing work on yourself, or you need to open up some awareness around yourself. I do value my alone time, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I want to share it with somebody. I want to share my insights, like with you, even if you're not here in the room with me. I'm excited to share with you what I get in my meditations, because they're so, it's the timeless wisdom. And if you just become aware of it, you can start to shift your life in so many beautiful ways, and you can create abundance that you've never imagined before. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. And that's what I want for you. So this is why I do these live streams. I mean, I could be out, hiking Sedona and just having a good time with my puppy. I don't have to be here in this room doing this. So I want you guys to realize that, is that I choose to connect with you. And it's my honor, and it's something that I like to do. Okay. Because I want to embody love, and I want to have relationships with others. I want to have connections with others. So let's do a little release fatal attraction energy. So let's say you get into, and I've been through my fatal attraction relationship already. Thank goodness that's over. And that happens sometimes when we are very vulnerable, right? We're at our low point in our life. We maybe just got off of a marriage or breakup, and we're very raw. Those emotions are very raw, and we need to heal that, right? So what do? We attract a fatal attraction. We attract a partner who we think is going to be perfect for us, and they're going to fulfill us, which of course is impossible. Because we need to come from a place of wholeness first, and then we can expand that love. But if we're looking for someone to replace something in our lives, then we're probably going to attract a fatal attraction. And they're going to be, another term for this would just be a toxic relationship, right? So I'm sure everybody who's listening has probably been through at least one toxic relationship at some point in their lives. And so we need to release that. Okay, so let's look at, I meditate on these invocations, and I get some good invocations. So if you've had a toxic relationship, I want you to follow along with me. And again, we can massage that portal of the left little finger, okay, and we can speak directly into it. Okay, so here is the invocation. And invocations, by the way, they're just words of power and empowerment. So when we claim something and we speak it, or we think it, we're bringing in the power. Writing it down is also really, really good, because that's another way to just move it into the physical. Okay, so here's the invocation to release fatal attractions. I release my ex. I am free of his or her hex. I lift the chain now and choose to take a new bow. My new love is strong. I am truly coming along. Shadows gone, shadows gone, shadows gone. Sunny skies, warm heart. Now free to do my part. Okay, so that is the invocation to release Fatal Attractions, if you need that one. And if you want to pull in a new relationship, here's one that I just called the Lover's Invocation. And again, we can speak directly to the portal, or we could look at our affection lines too. So we do have relationship lines that show up on the side of our little finger, and they jut out into the mount of Mercury. Okay, so we have our heart line, which is the major line just below the fingers, and then these little affection lines will show up on the side here, and sometimes they will be long, and sometimes they will be short. Here it is on I drew it on a whiteboard, but here's the affection lines. Okay, so if you have a really long affection line, that can mean that you're being too picky about the kind of partner that you want. And if they curve in one way or another, that can be showing, if it curves down, that can be a detachment. If it curves up, it can be an isolation. Okay, so we want to see them just kind of short and straight would be the ideal. Older relationships are going to show up as the lower lines, and the upper lines are going to be newer relationships or possibly even future relationships. And these are intimate relationships. This lower section of Mercury we call the zone of intimacy. And again, if you have, variations in these sections, we want to look at that. So horizontal lines coming through here will be blockages or stress to the various heart chambers. Okay, so we want to check for lines that are horizontal, and vertical lines will show flow. Okay, so you can see those little fine lines if you look at your own hands. All right, but this is part of how I read hands. Okay, so let's invite soulmate love. Okay, so you can either massage that portal on your finger, or you can go directly to an affection line and you can massage that. Okay, so I invite soulmate love to find me, gentle, calm, and plain to see. This blanket of peace is a welcome embrace, bringing joy to my heart and a smile to my face. I am love, love is thee. My soulmate love is finding me. All right, and then just breathe that into your heart energy and your portal, and that can help you attract a soulmate. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about the 7 keys for recreating harmony in an existing relationship. So let's say that you are you're already in a relationship, you're already in a marriage, you're already in a significant relationship, and you just want to improve it. Okay, so, and of course, I've never had any trouble in my relationships, right? Wrong. No, we all have, challenges in relationships. I mean, it's part, again, it's just part of that dynamic energy, right? So I'm going to take you through 7 keys that I recommend, that I channeled from a meditation. Number 1 is to balance yourself. Okay, so what does that mean? Balance yourself. Well, that means that when you are not expressing who you are, and I always tell people, first of all, you can discover who you are through your hands. And once you know what that is, you want to be that. Okay, you want to be what your hands are telling you that you are. It's when we go against our own nature that we tend to have issues. Okay, so balance yourself. So if you have, stress in your life, or there's something that you're not expressing, then there's a reason why you're feeling angry or you're feeling frustrated. Okay, because your natural state is to be joyful. Okay, as a divine being of light. So number 2 is to set appropriate boundaries and expectations. Okay, so we do have a zone of boundaries, which is located in our hands, and it's on the index finger. We call that Jupiter, and it's the lower phalange. Okay, so the lower phalange of Jupiter this is your zone of boundaries. And again, we look at it just like we look at the zone of intimacy. If you have horizontal lines going through this section, that is going to show that your boundaries you're feeling like you have a violation of your boundaries. All right. So definitely take a look at that. And it's up to you to set your boundaries. Okay. So, don't just take it. Don't just take that crap that you're taking. You need to set a boundary and say, that's not okay. And then what happens next is the step number 3. You have to follow through when your needs are not met. So never assume that your partner will fulfill every single need that you have. Okay. You need to, again, come from that place of balance and wholeness. And you need to be able to set that boundary. And then if that boundary isn't met, you need to stand up for yourself. Okay. So you need to be the one to say, no, okay, I'm not going to do that. Or, you violated my boundary again, and I'm not going to allow that. And this is what's going to happen. So you have a consequence, and you actually have to follow through with a consequence of what you're going to do, whether it's to stay in the relationship or not, or, get some counseling or whatever it is you need. Okay. So these are things to check for. Okay. So number 4 is to let go of judgment. Okay. Judgment keeps us stuck in the vibration of stuckness. So we need to be able to express ourselves and then let it go. If you're holding on to judgment forever, you're going to have a hard time with it. And you're probably going to be staying in that vibration of not love. Okay. Because judgment is a form of not love. All right. So just let it go. Don't hold on to that. But you did this, you did this again. Because we don't want to look at that. Okay. So number 5 is don't fall into the same patterns of reaction. Okay. So it's really important to pay attention to that. So if somebody makes you angry and you react the same way, you react with anger back to them, is that a healthy reaction? Probably not. We need to look at how we react to stuff. And when you're healed, okay, you can always tell when you're healed, you don't get triggered anymore by the same thing. So it doesn't make you angry anymore. It's like, yeah, he leaves his clothes on the floor. I don't get angry about that. But I set the boundary. Hey, put your clothes in the hamper. And then if they don't get put in, it's like, well, okay, you put them in, or you move it or whatever, but you deal with it. Okay. So that's all part of paying attention to reactions. Number 6 is pay attention to always and never thoughts. Okay. So this is a really good one to remember. It's like if somebody is always doing this, or they never do that, or, that's when we can, again, that's sort of a judgment, right? So we want to let that go. Remember, relationships are dynamic. And if we're stuck in the always or never thinking, then we're probably going to we're going to continue to see the same thing over and over again through that mirror, right? Because we need to learn something. And number 7 is to reiterate your love. Okay. So this is, again, part of being in a healthy relationship is that how are you being loving? And if a relationship is important to you, then you need to reiterate that love and you need to nurture it. Okay. So you need to be loving. You need to show your love. You need to, express it in different ways. Okay. So these are some things to look for. And there's another marker in the palm that I also wanted to point out, and it's a line at the bottom of the palm. It sometimes will go across what we call Luna, and it will cross over the lifeline, and then it will curve down. This is a codependency marker. Okay. And codependency is an indication that you're getting stuck in someone else's life movie. And it's coming again from a place that's not from a wholeness,
So we really do need to look at balancing ourselves when we see that. All right, so I have another passage that I want to read to you from my meditations, and it's regarding empowerment in relationships. Okay, and again, you can just massage that little finger, okay? Go back to that while I read this. Okay, so I hereby claim and declare all codependent and base impulse interactions complete with my partner. I call in and welcome divine assistance in clearing old stories of fragmented pain to be washed and purified. I declare and claim my worth as a divine goddess of light to be treated with honor and respect from this moment forward. And you could replace goddess with God if you're a guy. As I shall do in reciprocity. I am value, love, honor, courage, and wisdom, full of divine energy to be shared in respect and loving honor as the sacred marriage vow is intended. I release pain, judgment, blame, and all past trauma to be healed and transmuted to light now. And so it is. All right, so this came up for me when I was struggling in a relationship. And I was really feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get through this. I don't know what's going to happen. And I channeled that message, and I was told to read it again before bedtime. And by the next day, I noticed a huge weight being lifted off my shoulders. I felt so much better, and my relationship actually turned around and got much better after that. So, but it was important for me to recognize codependent tendencies and release that. Okay, so check your palm, see if you have that marker in that lower section of your Luna mount, because it can definitely be an indicator that you need to heal. Okay, so I wanted to wrap up today's episode with some crystals, because there's so many amazing healing crystals that can help you in love and relationships. And by the way, you don't have to have these in person. Okay, I learned this from the Arcturians. They said that you can energetically connect to a crystal just by calling it in. And you don't have to have the physical specimen. Although if you do, or if you like to collect crystals, that's something that I personally like to have the physical specimens. But I wanted to run through 6 crystals that I feel are really, really helpful in helping you in any kind of relationship stress. Okay, so number 1 is morganite. Okay, and this is a piece of morganite. It's a soft pink crystal. And this one helps to soften your emotions. Okay, so if you are feeling overrun with emotional intensity, morganite is really good for just softening those emotions so that you can handle the flood, so to speak. Okay, so that's morganite. And I'm going to take you through, like I said, 6 crystals. The second one is green calcite. Okay, green calcite. And calcite comes in a lot of different colors, by the way. There's green, there's clear, there's yellow, there's peach, there's orange, So we're looking for the green one. And this one helps you to let go of attachments and struggles. Okay, so if you are just coming off of a fatal attraction, you don't want to bring in another one. This one is really good to help you let go of that relationship. All right, so you can hold the crystal. You can just put it next to your heart. You can put it on your portal, your healing portal. There's lots of different ways to use it. The next one is rose quartz. And of course, almost everybody's heard of rose quartz. I've got a little rose quartz heart, and it's a very pale pink color. They come in different sizes, very easy to find. This one is really good for forgiveness. So if you are wanting to soften your heart so that you can forgive, So you can release, maybe you had a fight with somebody, maybe you're going through a divorce, and you're bitter about it. If you're feeling any bitterness or anger, rose quartz is really, really good for that. All right. The next one is watermelon tourmaline. Okay. And I managed to pick up a huge specimen the other day. I love this one, by the way. It's such a beautiful crystal. Watermelon tourmaline has these rods that kind of run through, and they're green, and they've got the pink tourmaline inside of them. So watermelon tourmaline is really good for opening up truth, okay, heart truth. And so it can help you weave the ego's perception of love to the soul's view of infinite love. So if you're confused about whether or not a relationship is like a true soulmate attraction, or if it's a fatal attraction, watermelon tourmaline can guide you and really help you understand whether it's a genuine relationship or not. Okay, so it connects back up to that cosmic heart and back around. So the next one that is really good is called danbarite. And danbarite looks a lot like, it looks like calcite is what it looks like. It's kind of, it's clear, but it's got a teeny tinge of pink to it. Okay, danbarite. And this crystal helps to open up the heart value. So if you are not feeling valuable, if you're not seeing your own value in a relationship, danbarite can help you to step in and help show you the value that you bring into a relationship. And the last one I want to talk about is kunzite. And kunzite tends to be kind of a purplish color, kind of purple pink. And it is, the really good specimens are somewhat clear. And this is a really cool one for heart activation. So if you have a frozen heart, if you feel like I don't want to let anybody in, and that can show up, by the way, on your heart line, okay, that emotional line, as a diamond. Okay, so if you have a diamond on your heart line, that is an indication you have frozen heart energy. So this one can help to open that up for you and just bring in some beautiful, kind of melts the ice, right? Melts the ice of the frozen heart so that you can be ready for another relationship again. All right. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you so much for coming this week. And like I said, next week, we're going to talk about the cleansing the soul star chakra. And also, if you're interested in more abundance in your life, that's what I'm focusing on now, to help guide you in manifesting your best life. And that could include a beautiful relationship, if that's what you're looking for. Just go to ascension17.com/training to find out about my free training. I've got some free abundance training for you there. So thank you so much. And as always, I wish you infinite abundance and have a beautiful day.
Thanks for tuning in to Ascension 17. Are you interested in ascending your personal challenges and limitations? Are you ready for your year of abundance and miracles? Just go to ascension17.com and take our free quiz. What is your abundance archetype? To discover your personal abundance formula and start on your abundance path today.